Yo, what's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. In today's video, I am going to be going over how I trade crypto. So long requested video. I'm going to be going over the strats that I utilize for crypto. Obviously, if you're into index futures trading, it's probably why you found this channel to begin with. I trade that every morning at market open. But we've been trading crypto a lot more, and so I want to dive into what exactly I'm looking at in order to trade crypto, what I use, etc. So let's go ahead and dive into this video. Hopefully you can find some bit of knowledge. If you do, make sure you press that thumbs up button down below and subscribe. Turn on those bell notifications so that you know when we're live trading here on the channel. So I use two big platforms for trading crypto, just to dive right into it. I do charting on TradingView, which is not really new for many people out there, but it is called TradingView. We'll see it in just a second. And then I'm executing my crypto orders on several different platforms, but mostly what I'm trading on is called BitGet. It's linked down below in the description, as well as the pinned comments. And this is where I'm going to be trading Luna. And we'll talk about why I trade Luna in just a second. I also utilize Coinbase to go fiat to crypto. So if I don't have any crypto, or if you don't have any crypto, you might want to sign up for Coinbase or Gemini or something like that, to where you can use your bank account, which has US dollars in it or something similar, and then be able to buy crypto with it, transfer that to your Pro Coinbase account, right? And then from there, send it out to an exchange through wallet transfers, which I'm sure there are plenty of videos out there on how to do that. That's how you go from US dollars to crypto. Then once you transfer it onto a platform like BitGet, then you can actually start trading. Now, one thing to note that is important, a platform like BitGet has spot trading, which means like for Luna, you're trading Luna to USD non-leveraged. They also have futures trading, which means it's leverage trading. If you want to trade spot, then you're fine just trading the crypto that you have. If you want to trade in futures, then you need to sell whatever coins you have for Tether, for USDT, which is the asset that you see here, the back half of the pair. So in order to do that, just go to your spot account with whatever crypto you have, sell it to Tether, and then you can come back into your USDT M futures account and click this transfer button and transfer it from spot into USDT M futures. All right. So that's how you get onto the trading platform to begin with. Quick little introductory there. The second thing, just while we're setting this all up, is you're going to want to go to tradingview.com. Tradingview.com. I'm looking, again, we'll talk about why I'm looking at Luna in just a second, but I'm looking at Luna Tether US perpetual futures on Binance. And so in order to do that, you just literally start typing in Luna USDT, right? And I see here the perpetual contract, which is the futures contract on Bybit, and then I see it on Binance, Binance, and here's the perpetual futures for Binance, right? So I'm going to click that. And the reason that I'm using Binance is because if we go back to BitGet, the other tab, we can scroll down here and see the futures information. You can see at the index source, so the price that they're kind of monitoring to make sure that their order book is next to, Binance is included in that, and it's got a lot of volume. So that's why I chart on Binance on TradingView. Okay, so I'm looking at both BitGet's price and Binance's price at the same time, which can also be seen here. Other things to quickly set up. I don't mess with anything that they have on this chart, really. This is like their pretty standard chart. I do have a 20 moving average and a 200 moving average. I don't really use them. I don't really know necessarily why I have it on there. I don't really use it, right? The main thing that I'm looking at personally is the candles. And then on TradingView, I look at volume as well. In order to look at volume profile on TradingView, I believe you do have to be a paid member. They might have some workarounds there somehow. Maybe there's a video on it, but for the sake of this example, for the sake of this video, just assume that you've already paid for it. I'm going to assume that. I use VPSV. So you go to your indicators and type in VPSV, right? Volume profile, session volume, and just click on that. And then it's going to automatically populate. The reason that I use this is because I just care about point of control, which is going to be the red line. I just care where the most volume on the session has been conducted, right? So similar to how on index futures, I'm looking at where is the volume being conducted. To me, it's the same application here. It just shows like where are people interested in conducting trades at, right? Why are people conducting a lot of trades here kind of on this rounded bottom all around 85, and then we pop to the upside, right? Like, that's a question that I want to ask myself. Doesn't always lead to perfect answers, but you can at least ask yourself the question, right? Like, why did we have all this volume conducted at 117 near all of these prior highs, and then we flushed out of it, right? So to me, it's just a good practice to know historically where volume is being conducted. As price increases, I can look to the left and see kind of the general areas that people really cared about volume. A lot of times they're going to kind of line up in a line as well, which is pretty interesting. So that's one reason why I use volume profile on my trading view charts. So now the meat of the video, which is how do I actually trade this, what I'm actually looking for. It's very simple for me with crypto, and it's really just looking from like a top-down approach at levels. What I've learned is that crypto responds pretty well to levels, meaning support and resistance from a high time frame down into the 5-minute. So I go 1 day, I look at the 1 day chart, and I look at the 4-hour chart, and I look at the 1-hour chart, and then I look at the 5-minute chart. So the higher the time frame, the more important I think it is. So on a 1 day chart, I care about those wick tests and those levels a little bit more. But like on a 1-hour chart, you can trade it pretty easily and pretty well. And we're going to look at that in just a second here. So let's go ahead and get set up. Let's go to the 1 hour. All right. So the other thing that I'm looking at is in order to find support and resistance is kind of these impulse moves to the downside. Okay. So what that means is if I have a long bit of selling on like an hour or even a 5-minute or even the daily, basically any time frame, but if I have a bit of selling like this, what I'm looking for is any bit of cluster in between, right? Another example would be the selling right here. So we have good selling, but right here we have a single green bar that kind of acts as a support, right? And then as we look right, you can actually see how it basically that same level applied both times. So that's how I'm finding interesting levels to me. Now, I think it seems very simple. It seems very easy. It's because it is. Let's look at the 5-minute chart, see if we can find any other good examples just in the short term. Let's go here. Yeah, here's one. Here's a great example, right? So as I'm looking at my trades, yes, price is going to be over here, but I'm looking left on the chart to find out where price was important. So here, again, we have a bunch of big selling, a pretty nice move. This is on a 5-minute chart, and this move was worth 4%, right, to the downside. So I see this red selling. What do I look for? I look for that green bar in the middle of all the red, which happens to be right here. And then if I was to just draw a line straight over, it's a pretty bad line. Let's see, horizontal ray. If I draw a line straight over, you can see that when we started rebounding out of those lows, what do? We came up and tapped the line and reject it, tap the line, reject it, tap the line, and reject it, right? And then as we move even farther to the right, that level still applies, right? We're up, wicking up into it, and now we're finally blasting up out of it. We finally broke out of the level, right? Right here, we broke out of this level. What do? We come back down, and we test that same level and then rip out of it. So these levels require a decent amount of just like honestly practice to figure out which ones are important, which ones aren't. But the short and sweet of it is if you have a really big, like strong move to the downside, just look for that green candle in the middle and start there. Start playing around with it there. From there, you can kind of just start writing out some levels, you know? One thing that I would recommend is look at levels that are like within $2 to $3 of current price and map those out. See which ones are important, see which ones have been tapped a lot. Nothing's going to hold for forever. So if you have like 6 or 7 tests on something, just expect it to pop through. Similar to like what we had here, right? We had rejected it like 5 times. So finally, we have a bunch of momentum pushing into that level. What does it do? It pops through, it comes back down for the retest, and then the long out of it. So that's one way to trade crypto. You're going to see this on every time frame pretty much that you're looking at: 1 hours, 4 hours, dailies, etc. And it's just like a pretty clean, simple way to be looking at levels. We look at the 4-hour chart, it's the same thing, right? For instance, here, good selling, right? To the downside, what do we have right here? We have this bar. And where are we rejecting right now? Literally right now, we rejected it perfectly. So that is the style of trades that I'm looking for. So on a bunch of momentum and a very large move, like a larger move than normal, as we push into that level of interest, like this is a 6% move almost to the upside, I'm looking to take a short off of that level. And then as we pop through it, I'll be looking for a long if we still have a bunch of momentum, a long off of that level after the retest. So again, short originally, and then as we push through it, look for the long retest and then get long off of that same support level if momentum is up to the upside, trend is up to the upside as well. The other thing is that you're going to notice a lot of just like really trendy plays, which is nice on crypto. But let's quickly talk about why I'm trading Luna. Luna, to me, is a very clean moving asset. You're going to notice that it just responds to these levels that I keep talking about pretty well. I mean, even just, I didn't really plan for this video to be honest, but I just like finding those two examples is pretty clean and easy to see. As we have a nice move to the upside, like we're going to see these just as it goes, right? So here we have this level. Like I'm just looking like right now, you know, what do? We came back down, tested it, had a little buy up off it. You're not looking for huge moves here. Obviously, depending on your position size, the time frame that you're on, it's going to dictate all of those types of targets, etc. But like a clean target from support here to this little short-term resistance is a pretty decent move. It's like 40 cents. So obviously, depending on your position size, could be worth a lot, could be worth a little, but it is a nice move. Luna does have a pretty good movement in comparison to Bitcoin, though. So Bitcoin has lately been kind of tracking the markets, the indexes, the US indexes. And Luna has been obviously swayed by Bitcoin a little bit, but it has an even higher beta than Bitcoin, meaning the moves are going to be larger. So right now, Luna's up like 3.5% on the day. Bitcoin's up like 2.5% on the day. So for me as a trader, I want volatility. I want lots of moves, and I want those moves to be level to level, and for the price to respect those levels. And Luna kind of checks all those boxes for me right now. It's also just like extremely bullish on the asset. I like it. And so finding one asset when you're trading, I think is really important. I think this is a big takeaway from this video. If you're still watching at this point, obviously press the thumbs up button down below. But if you can find like one asset that moves around a significant amount, you can learn how it moves, right? The longer that you watch something, the more normal its moves become to you. And you can kind of understand the price action. You can understand the levels just from watching it for the last week. You can know which levels price reacted to and how it reacted, right? So if you're kind of looking for a new coin to trade every single day, I would probably push back on that a little bit and say, hey, maybe you should try and find one, maybe up to 3 coins that you should be trading every day, and just really get used to how it's moving, why it moves the way it does, how it reacts to other things, etc. So that would be a little tip there, and hopefully that's helpful for you. So when we're going over to, I'm actually currently in a little $1,000 account challenge, slightly red here. We're one day in, but on this challenge, that's what I'm doing. I'm trading level to level, trying to do it 100% on stream. So I'm missing some trades, even just like right now, but I'm trying to do 100% of it, 100% of the trading on stream. But the idea here is that you are, with crypto specifically, you can trade with as little money as you want, basically, because you can do fractions of coins. You can find coins that are really cheap, etc. You can trade with leverage. You can do whatever you want. And so it's a nice environment to be able to practice with a little bit of money, or a ton of money, and make just boatloads of money if you want, trading level to level, obviously. But for instance, on that last play that we were talking about, coming back down to support here at 86.2, just quickly looking, you can see we had rejected 88 just off this little cluster here as well. So 88 is currently resistance, currently support 86. So trading 86 up to 88, that's a $1.80 move. On 100 contracts, that's $180. On 1,000 contracts or 1,000 coins, I guess, that's $1,800, and that's within like the last hour. So there's lots of movement. Crypto's 24/7. The weekends can get a little wishy-washy. Different times of day can be better than other times of day. That's something I just suggest you kind of pay attention to on your own and figure out how to trade. But overall, I think the big takeaway here is, 1, you can practice trading crypto with hardly any money, which is huge. 2, look at volume and where it's being conducted. 3, higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, just general practices of trend, as well as level to level trading, which I was trying to map out here on how I find those levels. Again, look for a nice move to the upside, right? And within that upside, there's typically going to be like a red candle, or on a downside move, you're typically going to have a green candle at some point. and like where do those levels line up. Just mark them out and kind of see what ends up happening there. Another quick little strategy that I use fairly often is similar to futures. I call it the wick test. I don't really have a better name for it right now, and I don't even know if I see one in here yet to trade off of. However, for the sake of the example, what we're going to say is we'll just use this one. And it kind of apply. Actually, we'll use this one. We have a nice impulse move to the upside, right, with this green candle. So a nice green candle. What we do is we look at that prior high right here, and we look for the retest of that high as a support, and then we buy it for the move to the upside. Similar thing would be to the downside. We have a nice downward move. Let's see if we have any in here. We have a nice downward move. Yeah, I don't see any short term. But if you have a nice downward move, then you would be looking at like the prior wick here on the retest for the short side. I have a video on my channel on that as well, or you can just tune into the stream to figure it out live if you'd like. But hopefully this video was helpful for you on how I'm trading crypto, how I'm trading futures. Obviously, leverage, etc., is going to be up to you. Leverage should not necessarily mean more risk. It should just be tied to position size. So people are always asking what leverage are you using. Really just view it as position size. What position size are you comfortable with given your account? It's always better to be overfunded, under leveraged, meaning you have more money in your account and you're using a smaller leverage because there's just less risk there. Leverage really just kind of, to me, comes down to ability to have strength in your concept of the move. The higher leverage that you use just means your entry needs to be more precise, basically. But you're also using less of your own money up front because, again, what we're capping is the position size, right? So if I'm using 500 contracts on 5x leverage, if I'm using 25x leverage, I should still be only using 500 contracts, and I should just be risking less of my own money. So that's a pretty important concept there as well. So at the end of the day, though, whatever you want to use is up to you. Your risk is your own risk. It's not my risk, so I don't really care what leverage you use, etc. But that is something to note about how I think about it, is through max position size. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. Hopefully you took some tidbits out of it. Again, I made it because it's pretty simple. It's just level to level and how I find those levels, and using volume to kind of help ask the questions. Why is this happening? Why is the market being conducted here? And then, of course, try and focus on one asset, because I think you will learn the price action cleaner and faster and know how to trade it quicker, as well, as opposed to just hopping around to a million different things. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. We have a free Discord chat. It's linked down below. I live stream every day on this channel, so subscribe, turn on this bell notification so you know when we're going live, and follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at TradesbyMatt. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great one. Peace.